Alright, what's up, everyone? So, now we got our second pay per view, and the other half of the people who didn't get paid are going to get paid here on this one. This might be the worst match ever. It's going to be close, though. A steaming pile of dog shit with Pockets versus the Plumber. Nobody wants to see this. And the thing that scares me, well, I don't know. Moxley may even take the title because they may feel like it's going to put some prestige on it, but they probably think it already has prestige. So the booking for this is really confusing. Uh, but I can see Moxley losing because they're just putting all the shine on Cassidy, and Moxley really doesn't care at this point. He's like, I got 5 years at 5 mil, whatever it is that Tony's paying him. He's not worth it. So I'm gonna go crazy and put Cassidy over because man, does Tony have a hard on for freaking Orange Cassidy. And every time I think he should have lost, they won't. Like, can Jay Lethal get a freaking run? Please, somebody. There's so many guys I could name that deserves title runs and pushes that would be massive stars, and they won't give it to him. Jay Lethal not even being the least of them. But no, we have to watch Orange freaking Cassidy's 97 pounds. Chris Statlander could beat him up. Really? I mean, anyways, enough of this. I can't look at their ugly faces anymore. And of course, the TV would curse me to pause it again, so I'd have to stare and watch it twice. This again is just like weird. Nobody wants to see FTR. This isn't even. What does it even mean? Why are these guys facing each other? It's just to get the Bang Bang Gang together. Uh, they're better individually. We don't need an 8-man tag. Um, I don't know. This just breaks my brain. I guess everybody needs a payday. FTR and Young Bucks already got paid. Let Bullet Club, you know, I mean, these guys, we just gave the tag titles to the Gun Club. And then ever since then, they haven't done jack squat except join Bullet Club Gold. Why can they not get, you know, maybe another rematch for against FTR or go against the Bucks or, usually these feuds kind of work their way around. And we already saw an amazing match with the other two members of Bullet Club Gold. So Jay White and Switchblades, Jay White and Juice. So having them go against FTR for round two. I know it was a 2 out of 3, and they, or would it be round 3 technically? Whatever. I would rather see that at a pay per view than this 4-way. So, Young Bucks, I don't think are going to take another loss. However, in a 4-way, you never know. I don't think anybody cares, but if I'm going to put my money on it, Bullet Club Gold wins because you need somebody to pin the champs or somebody in a match that doesn't matter to give credence to them having a title shot later. So Bullet Club Gold. I mean, is it time to take the belt off Statlander? No. So I would tell you what I would do here, and I'd have Konosuke Takeshita win via DQ, and Kenny Omega kind of go on this downward slide since he's been losing a lot of matches recently, and he has to reevaluate his life, which goes into Don Callis' agenda, and make it seem like it's all over for him. And he says, since I've come back, all I've done is lost, and things haven't been going my way, and really have him have a heart-to-heart promo. But he lost. It wasn't legitimate. And then the next match, I would have Kenny win, but it was via DQ. That's only because Takeshita, used a chair or whatever. I know they don't do DQ finishes at pay-per-views or anything like that, but these pay-per-views are 4 months out, so this would probably happen at a Dynamite. So I'd have him beat him again and injure him. and bring Kenny out. Like, literally bring him off TV and work an angle. And then at the next pay-per-view, Kenny comes back. He says how much he's reevaluated, he's healed up, he's better, he's motivated. And get him in a steel cage match or something where there's no rules and Takeshi can't get away. And finally he beats Callis and Takeshita together, and then give him his run. And then have him go after the world title. And then when he does that, at that point in time, have him face CM Punk for the Real World's title. Or if that title is already off Punk, maybe go after MJF, or something like that. I hate Kenny Omega, whatever, but I'm still going to use him. I know the fans like him, and I'm going to book him properly. That's what I would do. I don't see that happening, and I see Kenny Omega actually just beating Takeshita clean here. So I'm going to put Kenny Omega here. That's my pick, but that's not what I would do. This is another match that really makes no sense. For God's sake, just let Claudio and Eddie go at it. We're just killing time here. You already have ROH titles being defended on this show. You have the tag titles. You have the ROH TV title with Samoa Joe. Just put the world title on the line and let Eddie take that thing off of Claudio and let him be a dual champion. This way he can be the New Japan Strong Champion and the ROH World Champion. And give Eddie a freaking push already. That should have happened, to be honest with you, a year and a half ago or so. But they keep botching it. But now you've got 3 ROH guys, 2 ROH guys in this match, but nothing's on the line. So you're waiting for an ROH pay-per-view? It doesn't make any sense. So, but, yeah, who's going to win? I didn't even make my pick because it's so unimportant. Kingston, they're probably going to lose so that Eddie gets revenge and takes the title off of him so they can trade wins? Is that, I guess? I don't know. That's how I'm going to roll with it because Tony's weird. It could go either way. This one is hard. I can see Darby winning, and then Christian Cage being like, you didn't take the title because I was the champion, and then Lucha turning on Christian. But it's a good gimmick. Do you really want to break it up? So I personally would once again keep it going on for a while, which means Darby's gotta lose, and then Christian gets even more possessive over the title. Haha, you couldn't beat me for the title, whatever it is. So I don't want this to end quite yet, but that's wanting. Should they? I don't think they should either. I'm going to pick Luchasaurus over Darby, because why give him the belt if you're not going to let him beat big stars? And Darby's a big star in this company, whether you agree with it or not. So Luchasaurus over Darby, that's what you should do. That's what I want. That's what I would do. It just makes all the sense in the world. If Darby gets the belt, he's a 4-time champion now? What does it do for Darby? Nothing. He's already a made man. He shouldn't be battling for this belt anyway. He should be doing other things, and he just got out of a world title feud, and he needs to be back in that scene doing other things. So anyway, this is just a way for Darby to put Luchasaurus over. This is the hardest one to book because neither one of them can afford a loss. If it were me, I'd have them fight to a double disqualification. But that doesn't happen anymore. That's an old 80s trick that you would do so that you could continue to have matches in the long run and make both guys look good. That's how Hogan got built up for a long time, having double DQ matches and count-out victories over Harley Race and Nick Bockwinkel, who were the NWA and AWA champion in those days. So if Powerhouse Hobbs win, Miro comes back and just immediately takes an L. That doesn't make any sense for Miro. Miro gets the W over Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs just ended up losing a feud with Wardlow and Miro. And why is he going back to the Book of Hobbs then? Because now that doesn't work. So he has to win. Neither of these guys can afford it. So it's got to be a count out. It's got to be a messy finish. It's got to be sloppy. But Hobbs goes over in some way, shape, or form, and I just don't know how. It shouldn't be clean. So a dirty, cheating victory for Hobbs over Miro. It's the only way I can see this. This is easy, better than you, baby. Are they going to lose? How long? They make too much money. They're selling too many merch. T-shirts and merch, things like that. So, it's really easy. And Silver and Reynolds have to establish themselves as the cheating heels. And how far do they go is the question. And you're really selling the MJF babyface now. We go on this ride for a little bit. The question is how long, because every pay-per-view that MJF wrestles as the champion on, he's not defending the world title. So I think this is a great way for MJF to reduce his workload and keep the belt for a little while so he doesn't have to defend the world title, and he only has to wrestle half the match until the next pay-per-view. So they'll hold the belts until the next pay-per-view. 2-3 months or so, I think they can milk this. I think this was the last one, Samoa Joe, right? I mean, is there any doubt that the King of Television is going to beat Shane Taylor? And the fact that this is easy, Samoa Joe over Shane, but CM Punk not on the card. This is the big story. CM Punk. Yeah, you guys probably heard, you followed the wrestling, scuttlebutt. The fake news again being reported by Brian Alvarez. They got into 2 incidents with Jack Perry and then one by Miro. The Miro one was completely a lie and they were just working everyone. And the one by Jack Perry was told not to use glass by the agents and by everyone, and then they went to CM Punk and asked CM Punk to tell him not to use real glass. And then Jack Perry still went ahead, used real glass, and called him out on national television and said, real glass on the pay-per-view when he fought Hook, and then he got himself all cut up. Then he went backstage and verbally started a confrontation with Punk. Now, if you remember correctly, there was a set of rules that AEW released that stated these things have to be approved, whether it's pile drivers or off-the-rope moves or, furniture, sealed chairs, glass, thumbtacks, all these things. I suggest you look that up and go into it. It was a very extensive list. Jim Cornette has an amazing podcast clip of them going over all the rules. It has to be approved. End of story. It was not approved for Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, whatever you want to call him now, was not approved for his match. Everybody told him no. He went ahead and did it anyway. He broke the company policy and the company's rules. Had somebody got hurt, the company would have been liable. And CM Punk was there. Obviously, he has some kind of authority to tell them no. And when Jack Perry did not listen, what happens now? Yeah, CM Punk is the one that's getting reported as if he did something bad, because you have these fake idiots that are marks for the business that are being paid by AEW, by the Wrestling Observer, that are trying to make it out like CM Punk is combative when he's literally doing his job. And all these people out there have been bamboozled and worked by these idiots in AEW because they actually run wrestling websites. Chris Jericho runs a wrestling news reporting website. Now, that's not a conflict of interest, is it? So Dave Meltzer wants so badly to put AEW over. That's why he gives them so many 5 and 6 and 12-star matches that it's not even funny. And this is the problem that we have today. So AEW's gotten more matches that are 5 stars than WWE has gotten in the last 20 years, or even New Japan or anybody else. Kurt Angle doesn't even have a 5-star match. Chris Van Fleet went through that interview perfectly and took down Meltzer, and they're trying to take down Punk. So that tells you all you need to know. So if you're not a Punk fan, it's because you've been worked into not being a Punk fan, because you do not understand the business. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Do the research, figure it out, smarten yourself up. Anyway, they're in Chicago, and they're not going to bring CM Punk. They got 3 nights booked. Tony, you just got off your 80,000 show. This will forever, I'm telling you, this company will not last more than 10 years because of the fact that look at WCW, 10 years. Look at ECW, 10 years. Crockett Promotions, 10 years. TNA, 10 years. All of them averaged out before they went out. AEW will be no different. We'll look back and say that was the high point. We've reached the apex of AEW, and then the decline has begun. They've already jumped the shark. They're already going to book All In multiple years at Wembley. We already know that WWE has a 90,000 booked WrestleMania for next year in Philly. They're going to break their attendance record, and this will be nothing but a memory. And we're all going to look back and go, man, I told you so. Goodbye, AEW. This is the beginning of the end. Punk will go to WWE. MJF will go to WWE. The smart people will go there. Jericho is going to get his Hall of Fame induction, and you're not going to have anybody left but a bunch of Orange Cassidys that nobody wants to see, and Kenny Omegas, who cannot draw a dime. And those guys are all 40 anyway, so good luck.